Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel here. As you can see from what I pulled up and the title of the video and everything, we're going to be reacting to the College Football 26 official reveal trailer that dropped a handful of days ago as I'm recording this anyways. It's pretty electric. Obviously, College Football 25 and the series in general is something that I really like a lot. College football is something I really like a lot. I did a video somewhat recently saying what we needed in College Football 26 to improve upon College Football 25, which I thought was a terrific game and a game that I put in my top 5 game of the years for fucking 2024. I mean, it's great to see the series back, and it's great to see the series continuing like this from 25 to 26, like it did back in the day. And yeah, they dropped the reveal trailer, really hype, showed a lot of stuff that's coming in College Football 26. A lot of really important stuff that I think is good for the game to be put back in. I was kind of hit on this in my college football 2025 video in like 26 when it needs to be good. That there was a lot of stuff from the older college football games that weren't necessarily immediately included in 25 that I think they should have returned. Looks like some of these features they're returning, at least in their own variations, and how they their new modern spin on them. Essentially, that's going to be really really good for the game. We'll get into that as they pop up on the reveal trailer and everything. But yeah, it doesn't seem like everything from the original college footballs are back. Didn't really expect that to be the case, just because I really do feel like EA is trying to at least hold back a few nuggets here and there of things they can sprinkle in for college football 27 and 28, just so they have something new and unique added into each new game to make it fresh. Outside of updating the graphics and the rosters and maybe adding in some like North Dakota States and like FVS teams and stuff like that. But yeah, without further ado, I guess let's just get this going. And won't have any audio just because I don't know what I can and can't include in everything in these videos. But it does have music in the background that's playing and some voices occasionally and stuff. Obviously, Enter Sandman is like the main kind of background song that we'll get into the importance of that and what that means is being added in the College Football 26 in a minute. So yeah, let's go off right here. You have kind of the flyovers here. You see kind of this mainly shows the ambiance of the stadiums, mainly shows the walk-ins and the pre-game productions and everything. And I wanted to pause it there. I guess let's bring it back to some of the pre-game productions here in the flyovers. One of the big things that essentially is confirmed, not just by the reveal trailer, but people have been saying, College Football 26 is going to have a lot more ambiance in it, especially in the game value and the production value of these games. What that means is they're going to have cool little firework displays and more pregame walkouts and stuff for each different college. They're going to have more marching band, like I guess performances. I guess I don't know what the exact right word is, but the little displays of the marching bands and the songs they play and everything. They're going to have more fight songs and unique walkouts and songs that are played at college football stadiums across the country for these different teams. They're going to be expanding that much further than it did in the original game or in College Football 25. Enter Sandman's the big one for Virginia Tech. Obviously, that will be displayed later in the video as well. That's coming in. That's going to be really cool. It's a killer song, killer entrance, one of the best in college football. So that's going to be really fun. It's not a major thing. You can take it or leave it in these games, as obviously it's just for display purposes. But it really does help build the atmosphere of college football, and it's a part of college football that really is distinctive from professional football and even high school football. Honestly, it's just on a bigger scale, anyways, and what makes it so special and unique. So I think it's a really good addition in here. And then next, we'll see in the second. You kind of already saw it. That yeah, this is high school football. If you couldn't tell that, so not to go back on this and kind of rehash and everything, but there is going to be high school football in college football 26. The high school era for Road to Glory will be returned, unlike in college football 25. Obviously, a pretty pivotal thing for older college football games was that in Road to Glory, the game mode where you make your own unique player and progress them through the 4 years of college and everything. Uh, they are going to be starting in high school. Then you're going to be, you know, as you can see here, committing to a different school that you have some once you play your game or whatever in high school, you have, you know, a few select colleges that are interested in you, and you know pick which one you want to go to or whatever. I assume you'll probably be able to pick like a top 3 for the display purposes, and then like pick ultimately which one you want to go to. It looks like. So one thing that is a bit disappointing, I am glad to see high school football back. It was a really fun part of it. One disappointing thing is reports seem to say from people who maybe know a little more than I do about this that it is not the full extent of what we got in the older college football games, where essentially you played almost like a playoff bracket tournament, where you would play a few games as call in high school before you decided which college you're going to and went on to college for all the glory. It seems like you might just be playing a single game, or at least or some maybe some key moments essentially of a game in high school. They're just one experience. Then picking the colleges and then going to college, kind of like you did similar to college football 25. So I'm glad to have college football back in the game. I think it's a good improvement here, or high school football back in college football here. But I don't think I don't know why they decided to remove the extra games and time that you would get to play in high school. I thought it was kind of fun to play in high school. You could really run up the score on those motherfuckers. You could really, do a lot of good for your, I guess, college stock essentially. It was a really fun feature of it. I'm not entirely sure why they like narrowed it down to just like key moments essentially. But I am glad to see it back nonetheless. But it's just my thought. I'm kind of neutral on it and how they decided to do it anyway. But these display ceremonies should be pretty cool. Going in more of the ambiance in here for the pregame shows, the bands and everything, and the songs and the fight songs and for each school and everything, and the unique runouts for different school and more schools essentially. And a pretty important part showed kind of right there. I don't know if there's any part later where they showed a little better, but show of Ryan Day, and I'm not a fan of the Buckeyes or him particularly. Real coaches are going to be in college football 26. This was a confusing part of why this wasn't in college football 25. I guess they just didn't get the deals done in time or something, or some reason they held it up. But real life actual coaches will be in the game for these schools that are included in here. A lot of coaches opting in. I'm not entirely sure about like all the assistant coaches or coordinators and everything, but I believe some of them might be in as well. But especially the head coaches, the main focus, of course. It'll actually be real people this time. It won't just be some like generic generated coaches. You'll actually be playing against, Ryan Day or, Coach Freeman or something, depending on, who you play or what team you're replacing them on, I guess. If Ryan Day, if you're a Buckeyes fan, Ryan Day might not be in the game anymore. You might just, replace him out of your dynasty. But that's a big thing. Obviously, real players are pivotal for any real college football game. But having the real coaches again helps with that ambiance and the realism fact of it. It is fun to beat coaches that you don't like or play against coaches that you respect and stuff. I think that's a good addition to the game for sure, and one that I thought should be added in those in that video I made. But there it is, college football 26. Obviously, Virginia Tech Enter Sandman's in the game. A lot of more unique runouts and things I've been repeating here. That's going to be a lot of fun because it really felt like only a select handful of colleges had any unique kind of ambiance to it. And now that's really being expanded to a lot more colleges and it's being really done up so that everything looks really cool. And more interception and like turnover celebrations here because there are some that have some really cool one. They showed about 3 of them here from like Georgia and Auburn and such. UNLV is one I hope they add in it with the slot machine. If you've never seen that, if you've never seen them play when they had a turnover on defense, that's some another cool little ambiance thing that they're adding in there. I think those will be a lot of fun. Moving on here, again, showing. I guess this is kind of meant to display the, I guess, added physics of it, but more so than that, I think this was more so meant to display just how many this past year a ton of new plays are coming to college football 26. That's another big thing. A lot of more playbook diversity and in-depth playbooks are coming. Apparently thousands of new plays are being added to college football across the different playbooks and teams. That's going to be a lot of fun to play with. They did seem to have some similarity through a lot of different playbooks there. A lot of the same plays you'd see kind of over and over again. Hopefully that, this freshens it up. And college, of course, especially when it comes to trick plays and stuff, but in general, college is obviously known more for its kind of wacky plays, and some plays that they have that the pros just doesn't work as well because of the different levels of play. Essentially, hopefully some of those more fun plays are in there as well, so you can mess around a bit and just have a lot more diversity in what you can run. But that is a great addition. Obviously, having more diversity in plays. This is kind of stadium atmosphere again. I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, they had this in college football 25 with the stadium pulse messing with you and everything, and like not being able to audible and shaking your screen and such. Was a real bitch for field goals. It made it very difficult, especially for any significant distances. Not sure if they're adding like anything more to this or making it more difficult or upping it or not, but they did make a note of it more. So who knows, essentially, but it's something that's obviously going to be returning. It might be a little more impactful or changed in this game, which I'll be interested to see how they do that. I think it could definitely be good. One thing in general, I think that they could, another thing with the real coaches here, one thing they could do with the stadium pulse and stuff like that is rework the kicking system to make it a little less funky with that. But I also just think, the stadium pulse, I'm not entirely sure. Or no, for this, the wear and tear here that kind of showed. I think the wear and tear in college football 25 was like way too aggressive. You'd hand the ball off to your running back 10 or 15 times in a game, and he's, in the red or in the dark orange, and his fumble rate's higher, his stats are going down somewhat significantly. And it's like, I get that players get tired, especially by like the fourth quarter and stuff, and maybe they'll get beat up some games, especially if they have quick turnarounds or something, or for some reason. But in general, I think the wear and tear was a little extreme in college football 25. Most running backs at a pro or even a college level, these guys are prime athletes, but on top of that, they're getting in like normal real life games where they're actually getting hit. They're getting the ball, running backs just running the ball, not even including a lot of the catches or a lot of the blocking work or routes they run on top of this. They're getting the ball handed off to them if they're an RB1 anyways, anywhere from like bare minimum 15 times to like 20, 25, 30 times sometimes in the game. And you don't necessarily see the drastic fall off that you do in this game that displays. Same thing with quarterbacks being sacked back there. You saw that quarterbacks definitely maybe sometimes a little more fragile than some of the running backs, obviously, just because of the position they play. Um, but it was a little extreme for them, and it really, hurt them a lot. Obviously, players can get hurt. That's something that has to be in the game. But you shouldn't have to. Your quarterback gets hit, whether he gets sacked or he gets tackled for a run or something. Especially in college, these quarterbacks are a lot more durable, generally speaking. They can take a lot more punishment. They really shouldn't, after a few sacks or hit, start losing a bunch of stats, especially if it's not like late in the fourth quarter or something where they're tired and they've been beat up a lot. Like that makes a little more sense. But overall, the wear and tear was a little extreme, so hopefully they rework or tone that down a little bit. Honestly, it looks like the accuracy stuff is still going to be pretty fluky with that, but it is what it is. More displays and team coaches and stuff, different routes. So some pretty boilerplate stuff. Bring glory home here. One thing, I'm not entirely sure if they displayed it maybe in this Bring Glory Home. One thing I did want to mention that I don't, this obviously not in this official reveal trailer here, but was kind of mentioned in and some different stuff that college football and EA in general has released. Trophy Room essentially, I believe, is coming back to Dynasty. Essentially, what that does is allows you over the years of your Dynasty to track what bowls you've won, what trophies you've run. I'd assume and hope maybe rivalry trophies are part of that, and rivalries in general, records and stuff against rivals and human players maybe, or in general throughout your career. That's just it. I mean, part of Dynasty, especially when you play with other people, is bragging rights. Who has the most successful run? Who wins the most trophies? Who wins the biggest games and the biggest, events? So being able to track that is a really nice quality of life feature added into Dynasty for college football, and I'll definitely be looking forward to that come next month in college football 26. But I wanted to see if it maybe mentioned this in college football, because the thing is that this is Madden, obviously, but Madden, it's like, oh, you can get your guy if you buy the bundle, you can get your college football player into Madden or whatever. But I believe the trophy room made some mention of this. Oh, made some mention of this in here. Obviously, yeah, the high school to college pipeline for college football. Makes some mention of college football here. I believe this is the trailer that shows Trophy Room. Maybe a new score bug as well being shown there, but we'll see about that. I wouldn't hate, or I wouldn't have much opinion on that. Yeah, hopefully there's bigger bowl. Hopefully there's bigger trophy presentations. Obviously, you can get your Road to Glory guy into the NFL if you buy, uh, if you buy Madden. Yeah, here it is. This was what it was supposed. This was kind of the reveal here for Trophy Room. Obviously, these are appear to be Lambeau trophies, but or these appear to be Super Bowl trophies, but people took this as well as I feel like there's something else that I'm missing here somewhere from like college football that there's supposed to be a trophy room for Dynasty, but regardless, I think uh, I think it's gonna be real. I didn't buy that bundle by the way, but I'll just be buying college football. I haven't played Madden in quite a while, honestly, but yeah, that about does it for the college football 26 reveal trailer and also I guess the Madden bundle reveal trailer as well. Um, so yeah, those are most of the main changes that those revealed. A lot of the main stuff that's confirmed coming to 26. I'm sure we'll get a lot more news as we approach the official release date, which is about a month away at this point. Really looking forward to it. It's going to be one of the best games of 2025. Hopefully, that's what I'd say, anyways. It should be in my list, back-to-back years, hopefully. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about that. If there's anything I missed that I glossed over, forgot about, I apologize about that. Let me know what you think about college football 26 and the changes coming and what's being added in. If you're as hyped for this college football 26 as I am. But yeah, that about does it. If you enjoyed the video on the channel, I encourage you to like and subscribe. Definitely helps it out. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.